All right, let's just jump right in. Welcome to today's explainer. I am super excited because today we are going to completely flip the script on how you think about learning, studying, and just processing information in general. Seriously, whether you're a student trying to crush your exams or a professional wanting to upskill, this is going to shift your entire paradigm. We're unpacking a fantastic visual framework today, originally designed with some brilliant key-mark concepts that perfectly maps out the ultimate cognitive journey. We're going to climb this ladder of learning together.
So look at that bold statement right there. Don't just learn to remember. I mean, talk about a wake-up call, right? How many of us spend our school years just cramming flashcards, repeating dates, or memorizing formulas, only to completely forget literally all of it a week later? Being stuck in that traditional memorization loop is so incredibly common. But as this tells us right out of the gate, memory is just the floor of human potential. It is definitely not the ceiling.
So, here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, the problem of rote learning. 2, moving from memory to understanding. 3, application and analysis. And finally, number 4, the peak of learning.
Part 1, the problem of rote learning. Because we really got to ask ourselves this modern question: why isn't just passing a test enough anymore? With smart devices in our pockets that can recall basically any fact in half a second, just holding raw data in your brain, it's rapidly losing its value. And this brilliantly illustrates the divide we're dealing with today. When you're stuck memorizing and reciting, you're essentially acting like that parrot on the left. It's safe, sure, but it's incredibly limited. But jump over to the right side, designing, innovating, that massive gap between just repeating information like a recording versus actually creating something new and valuable, well, that's exactly what dictates who merely survives in their industry and who truly leads it. All right, moving to section 2, from memory to understanding. We all got to start somewhere, so let's look at the first few steps of this learning ladder to see how we build that foundation.
We're looking at the first 3 rungs of our upward climb: remember, understand, and apply. And pointing this out is absolutely crucial. Remembering is your necessary base. It's the concrete foundation of a house. But you can't just live on a concrete slab, right? You've got to build upwards to understanding and then actively apply that knowledge. So down on this lowest red tier, we have remember, or in Khmer, chong chum. Notice the specific verbs here: look, listen, take notes, recite, memorize, recall. It is all about input. You're basically a sponge soaking up water. And sadly, this is where most traditional learning just stops dead in its tracks. You look at the board, take your notes, and spit it back out on a test. But as you'll see, you haven't actually done anything with the information yet. This is just the starting line.
Moving up to the light green tier, we hit understand, or Yule. Now we're seeing a massive shift. We're going from passive reception to active processing. You're asking questions, interpreting, explaining, transforming. Listen, if you can explain a super complex concept to a 5-year-old using your own words, you are finally starting to get it. You aren't a textbook anymore. You are internalizing the ideas.
Section 3, application and analysis. Let's see how we take this abstract theory and turn it into real-world action. Welcome to the yellow step apply, or Anavant. This is that aha moment where knowledge becomes truly practical. Look at these actions: do, solve, calculate, choose, experiment, teach. You're not just philosophizing anymore, you are putting it to work. You're doing the math, running the experiment, and honestly, teaching others. That is one of the absolute greatest forms of application. That's where theory hits reality.
Now we're hitting the upper half of the staircase: analyze, evaluate, create. We are officially leaving standard boring studying in the dust, and we're stepping into the realm of deep mastery.
Check out the blue step, analyze, which in Khmer is known as VPeak. This is where the true pros live. Compare, differentiate, classify. At this stage, you aren't just blindly plugging numbers into a formula. You're breaking the information apart to see how the gears actually turn inside. You're looking at the fine details that make one strategy slightly better than another. You basically become a detective of information.
Section 4, the peak of learning, the ultimate goal. We are approaching the absolute summit of our educational journey here. Here is the purple step, evaluate, or Ved Tomlai. Up here, you've earned the intellectual authority to judge. You provide informed opinions, criticize constructively, grade performance, weigh your options. Think of a master chef tasting a new sauce, or a senior engineer reviewing a junior's code. You've gathered the knowledge, understood it, applied it, analyzed it, and now you can make highly informed, critical decisions. And finally, we reach the pink summit. Create, or banquet. Design, produce, plan, write, innovate. This is the promised land, guys. You are no longer just reacting to what already exists, you are generating completely original concepts. You're writing the book, designing the architecture, innovating the broken system. You took those basic, raw materials from the very bottom step, climbed all the way up, and built something entirely new and uniquely yours.
Which brings us to this incredibly powerful mandate. Trov rieng banket me. We must learn to create. All that studying, all the flashcards, the late nights taking notes, they were never the end goal. They're just the first rungs on a ladder. Because the entire purpose of consuming knowledge is to eventually produce value.
So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want you to honestly ask yourself, which step of this ladder are you standing on right now? Are you stuck down at the bottom, just taking notes and memorizing facts? And more importantly, are you ready to climb to the top? I really want to challenge you today to stop just remembering and start creating. Take your knowledge and build something absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for exploring this framework with me, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.